video, I'm going to show you how to set up a paperback review page in the catalog. We have master pages set up for each of our catalog sections, and for this we're using a master, which I already have actually applied to the page. So that's the master page you want to start off with, and we're doing the reviews. So this is page 14 of the catalog. We're going to be using two libraries. The first one is where most of the content comes in, which is Catalog Studio Library Resource. You'll be using this throughout the catalog, as well as Catalog Elements. These don't necessarily pull data over from the panel. They're more graphic elements that get placed throughout the catalog. So let's start off in the library resource, and we're going to be working with reviews. However, the first is going to be a hero, and the way that we have the pages broken up, you'll have to expand all of these. We have these in a grouping, and this is what it looks like. So we have catalog, page, umbrella headline, and item number. Item number is important. I'll tell you why in a second. We start off with the heroes on the page. So we have two heroes, and it's going to get implemented into a box similar to this over here called literature pairings. So what we do is go to the literature pairing library item for the left facing page. We're going to pull one over at a time, so let's just do this first. Drop this in. And this does not pull over any content from the panel either. And we're going to go with the first hero, which is the Discovering Literature title. And that is The Looking Glass Wars. Scroll down to our review library items, and this is a mass market review. Other hero, Alice in Wonderland, is also a mass market review. Alright, so we're going to make a few adjustments. We don't really need these rules at the top inside of this treatment. And we try to keep the price.wax off of the titles and the main part of, or the main image on the book cover when possible. So as I was saying earlier, we have the groupings include the item number so that it pulls in these acronyms. If we were to take the item number off, those would not show up. And that is an important element of these reviews. So just make sure that's included. This review is running a little long. Okay. Now this content, since this is a new treatment in the catalog, we have been placing this text manually as copy is ready. So that will come from Keith or Alana or someone in our marketing team. And we'll try to have that process streamlined because it's come through email, sometimes through instant messaging, but it should probably be using the editorial panel. So right now I have it in Greek and highlighted in our FPO for placement only color. So I know that I need to go back to that. And then you're going to pull in the rest of the reviews based on the region. We have them alphabetical order. So I'm going to start with B and work my way all the way down. We usually include more reviews than can actually fit on the page. So if you can't fit the last one or last two, that's fine. But I'm going to go to B and then fill that in, and you guys can see what it looks like when it's all laid out. Several different kinds of reviews that go into this section. Here we have an example. We have two examples. There's discovering literature titles that come in. They get this graphic treatment above the review, and we highlight the titles in this color, which we have in our swatches panel, labeled as sky blue. And we also have touchstones, which, let me see if I can find one. The treatment for a touchstone looks like this, where the difference is there's only two prices, the retail price and then the discounted price, which could change depending on which touchstone. So that's a detail that you need to look out for. That content doesn't necessarily come over with the library item, so that is a manual change. And they also get the green dot whack with the slightly different copy inside discussing the price. So with those two different styles of reviews, I know that on page 14 we're going to be using those for these two titles. So the first one is a touchstone, and these will be labeled on the physical hard copy per page that will come from marketing. They'll be labeled either touchstone or discovering literature title. If they're not labeled either, then it's mass market. And they will get this treatment that I've done elsewhere on the page. So I'm going to pull over the touchstone. That gets the review touchstone. Get rid of this additional. Good location, and just balance that out. And then this title I know is a discovering literature title, and we are going to use the mass market, and this is something that we can change in and add another library item, but I just found it faster to do this on the fly. So we're going to pull over mass market and drop that in. Pull this down. And the graphic that goes above it is in catalog elements. And that just gets placed above it. So I have this box here just to determine the space between the title and the graphic. Once that gets put into place, I want all of this to line across the top here. We'll just bump that up a little bit. And then readjust your content. Also on the book covers that blend a little bit too much into the background, we want to select those and go to Object Styles and select Hairline. That'll put a nice little rule around the cover so it doesn't get lost. And that's basically it. So, you know, we want to avoid having these gaps and negative spaces right in the middle of the page layout. So, you know, make your adjustments as you need to, move these reviews around until, you know, it looks the way you feel is balanced. And as you can see back on the panel, we didn't have enough room for the Joy Luck Club, so didn't place that. Also, on these pages, we add content like this. So if we don't have enough space for a full review, we want to make sure that these boxes make it onto every other page if possible. If we have a facing page where we have similar space, we'll fill it with a quote and use the quote panel. But all of that kind of gets determined after the first proof. So when you're giving marketing proof 1, these will be just open white space in the catalog. And if marketing feels they would prefer to put a quote in certain areas, they'll indicate that on the PDF proof. And so when you go back and make those first round changes, you can implement all of that information, be it a quote or the discount box. And the discount boxes can all be found also in the catalog elements library. So we're just going to add the last few details. I'm going to change this to the sky blue. Eyedropper tool, do the same for here. And this is basically how the page should look in the end. If you end up with weird gaps in between reviews where it might be a little weird, we would rather have the space towards the bottom of the page. So what I did was just bump this entire section up to compensate for that. That's it.